And we're back with Richard Reviews. Today we're reviewing a book for richardreviews.com/Griffin Chestnut here on YouTube. Today's book that Richard will be reviewing for us is titled The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. This apparently is the New York Times best-selling author, and this is the first law book in his trilogy, and this is considered book number 1. According to Junot Diaz, this is the finest epic fantasy trilogy in recent memory. So, this book was given to Richard in 2014, and he completed the entire piece in an unbelievably outstanding time limit. He not only finished the book in 2014 as well, he finished it in less than a week. He did not read it as fast as that due to the fact that he claimed the material was unbelievably amazing. He read it as fast as that because he had to get through it and he was getting sick and tired of it. Richard gives this piece bad reviews. This gets 2 thumbs down from Joe Abercrombie. Richard doesn't understand the praise that Junot Diaz gave when he said this is the finest epic masterpiece trilogy in recent history. He feels that that is not the case, and it is undeserved praise. Richard believes in calling a spade and saying that a lot of the material on this was ultimately copied from previous masterpieces in the past. This piece brings nothing new to the table, and there is a lot of laziness in the writing, and it doesn't really shine where it even is given opportunity to shine. Richard feels that Mr. Joe Abercrombie should go back to school and continue his studying before writing any more novels. He feels that unfortunately he doesn't have the intelligence to continue to create pieces that are worth his while. Richard started reading this while hiking in the Adirondack mountain range, and he felt that he couldn't get through it fast enough because he wanted to be finished with it. There is not much to say in terms of the overall plot without spoiling too much, but everything that was involved in this, Richard felt no sympathy or empathy for any of the characters and wanted it to be wrapped up as soon as possible. So we're going to get into this piece. It's not a rare piece. You could buy this at any local bookstore, and Richard obtained this piece in 2014, and he will not be holding on to it. He is going to deprive his collection of this and ultimately get rid of it. If nobody wants it, he will then either give it away for free or dispose of it in the trash. He is not a fan of this piece, and pieces that Richard is not a fan of, he doesn't hold on to them for a long time. They will not remain in his collection. This piece is one of them, and after a few years of finding out where its new home should be, Richard will ultimately decide and then send it on its way. Richard does not want anything to do with this piece, and he is pretty much done reviewing it and talking about it. But as for what's written in the link in the description, you can find his thorough and full review based on this piece. Whereas the design of just the front cover is pretty poor. This is a leatherback, a beautiful notion based in the Adirondack Mountains, whereas the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was based on this fabricated conglomerate, which comes with a milky texture, and it's a German flavor, and the German flavor sits on top of like a crescent, and the crescent explodes, and all this white yellow comes out, and then the cream fills in, and then you can put it back together. So Joe Abercrombie unfortunately copied this design from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which doesn't even fit into the story at hand, with the blade itself being the first epic trilogy, which Junot Diaz claims this is. Nonetheless, the piece is in pretty decent condition, as you can tell. Richard keeps all of his markings in good condition. The top cream is very well done. Side cream too. There is a nick on this side, but in Richard's words, this nick is well deserved. And more good cream on this side. On the side, we have Joe Abercrombie, The Blade Itself. and this is the First Law trilogy, number one. Being that this is the first in a trilogy, Richard has made note that since this is what the trilogy should be strategically standard by, Richard will make it a point not to continue the trilogy because he was so misled by the first book. He is not going to be checking out anything else by Mr. Joe Abercrombie. And here we have the back. More unnecessary and undeserved praise for the First Law series. This apparently is the series that the book intends the reader to go out and purchase all of these so you can put more money in Mr. Joe Abercrombie's pocket. It is not well deserved. Unbelievably undeserved praise for this piece on the back. It's plugins after plugins after plugins, where even The Guardian, George R.R. Martin, and Jeff Vandermeer gave artificial praise for a piece such as this. So that's unfortunately the case. But as we check over here, we have the price and US $15.99 for US, which is not a bad price considering the fact that it's under $20. But Richard would not pay a dime for this after reading it. He is going to shuffle this in with his most hated works, and then it will ultimately leave his possession sometime in the year 2025. If nobody steps up and claims it, then off to the dumpster it will go. Richard does not take lightly to pieces that he doesn't like, and this piece right here will not remain in his collection. He is very adamant about that. He does not want any pieces he doesn't agree with in his collection, and he makes it a law in his collection that his chemistry makes it possible. So as we take a look inside here, this is Mr. Joe Abercrombie. He's looking right at you with a very obnoxious and overly large author profile pic right off the back. A little pretentious, if you ask Richard, and obviously in full color, which is even more pretentious and obvious and obnoxious as well. So as we go through the part, the entire piece was written in chronological order of a delinquent who the main character contributes almost nothing to the story other than being a narrator, and unfortunately there's not even a lot of material to go along and bring this book to an ending. There is some stanchion that Richard found at the end, which was a little comical, but comical in the unintentional way, so it actually brought down even more points for this piece. We have over here $4.97, so we can appropriately say, and there's even more color in the back. Yeah, unbelievably pretentious. This author, Richard, has nothing but bad things to say about Mr. Joe Abercrombie. That is 2 thumbs down for Joe Abercrombie, 2 thumbs way down. So Richard can comfortably say and fairly say that this piece is a 500-piece waste of time for anybody that wants to get involved in The Blade itself. That's it for Richard Reviews. This is The Blade itself by Joe Abercrombie. This is Richard Reviews.